And welcome back to the Nose Plays Endless Space 2. Picking up part 2 of our return to the Hissho faction. I just want to take a second here to admire the fact that our scout ships that we built at the beginning of the last video were able to uncover over 20 star systems in our constellation. At this point, we are unable to do any more scouting, but we will be able to pick that up soon because I am working quite diligently on getting some more scout ships that are actually functional. We have a couple of things going for us now. The first being, because we colonized that system at the end of last video that did have a titanium deposit, we are collecting titanium, 2 of 2 every turn right now. Our colony is collecting that titanium. So even though we're not benefiting from any of the other fidsies, we are able to collect on that system. That is one of the reasons why I decided to go ahead and colonize that world instead of some of these other ones. This would have been a good system to maybe colonize. It might be my number 2 choice, primarily for the Jadonics. But again, we don't have the technology to do any of that just yet, so we're going to have to get a little bit further in the game. So far, things are going okay. If we look at our overall score, we're right in the middle of the pack, basically. So we're not falling quite as far behind as some of the other factions, at least in overall score. That's not a great indicator of how well you're doing, but it can be a pretty good indicator if you're falling really far behind. So we're doing okay on that respect, despite having some very difficult systems to work with here, at least in our immediate vicinity. I'm trying to remember how much we had left to do. So I know we had this faction quest started where we're going to assimilate one minor faction. I have a plan for that. We are 1 turn away from machine bacteria. We're bringing our ships back, all of our ships back, and we are going to finish building some of these basic industry buildings and then switch to some scout ships. Now, I might actually switch to the scout ships sooner than later. We might finish these a little bit after we get some of these done. But I want to try to get a couple of different scout ships put together that I can transition into potentially using them to start a war. But at the very least, we're going to try to get a bunch of these curiosities that we've uncovered revealed. And one thing I'm considering doing, 6 turns. In 6 turns, I'll be able to pull this guy back to a fleet. I'm considering bouncing him back and forth, and the main reason that I would do that is it's way easier to get experience in the early game for your heroes by collecting curiosities with probes and probe ships. You just get a lot more levels a lot more quickly than you do from staying in your home system and building stuff. So we uncovered that at the end of last game. That's all the way down here. And then we have the Lumeris to deal with, and they're actually a pretty easy foe. So if we decide to just take them out, we'll probably be pretty successful in that endeavor. But it will benefit us if maybe we take these guys out first. So I don't think there was anything else that I really needed to do this turn. Science-wise, I've got machine bacteria, planetary landscaping, and ubiquitous surveillance. There are definitely some other technologies right now that would really benefit us. One of those technologies is actually this one. And that is because we will also be able to start collecting Hyperium from that same system that we're getting titanium once I learn this. So if I were to push it up in the queue, it would still take us 5 turns before we could start collecting the Hyperium. And maybe more. So I'm not sure that I want to do that just yet. The other thing that would be really beneficial is to get our basic system development as soon as possible. That's going to happen by unlocking 2 technologies in this tree, or this wedge, this portion of the wedge. And that's going to allow us to activate our Jadonics. If we go to the market, you can see we have 10, and I'm fairly confident that it takes 20. So once we get close to 20, we're going to want to consider pivoting to getting the system development unlocked. Okay. I think we can hold off on that, but I kind of want to move this up. But do I want to move it up before food? Yeah, I think I do. We still have quite a few buildings in the queue. And we're going to add a bunch of ships to the queue right now, so... So one thing I'm considering doing right here is, because we're going to continue to lose 1 key per turn from running hatched at home, and we have no way of revealing more systems or starting fights. Ah, pirates. Okay. Well, now we have some more things to fight, which is good. But since I don't want to lose any more of this bonus, I don't remember how low we can drop this bonus before it drops off. We're not high enough to get the, I think it's 85 to get the bigger bonus. So we could run this for a little while longer. But I could also, since we are going to switch to shipbuilding, activate that. And let's reevaluate our peregrine. What do we have? So, can't really afford to do too much with these. That's really all we can afford to do. When it comes to a single defensive slot, I'm partial to shields over hull plating, but I would never run more than 1 set of shields. So 1 set of shields, and then the rest of your defensive slots should generally be hull plating. That's the way that I like to run my defenses on my ships, and it seems to work pretty well for me. There's some reasons for that I'm not going to get into right now. But I think this design will benefit us for now. Go ahead and craft a couple of these. And I can't craft any more until I get some more titanium. So let's see. Is there a system that I prefer? They're really about the same, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Alright, let's get all of our ships moving. wait a turn before we can retrofit that guy. That shouldn't be a problem. How many of these do I want to build? Probably 4 total, just then 2 and 2. So that means I need to build 1 more once I end the turn. So that'll give me 3. Okay. That'll give me 3 of these guys. Then I already have 1 right here that I can retrofit. And while he's waiting for his friends to get built, yeah, let's go grab curiosities over here in Mundus. Alright, our mining probe is still working. So we're going to send 2 of these ships this direction and 2 of these ships that direction. Got a second one. Second one available here shortly. Let's see, what else do we need to do? I think that's it. We just need to get these guys out. Alright, so Purple Empire has uncovered 10 curiosities. That's one that we're never really going to be able to complete with this faction. Pegasus has gained another population, so that's good. And we've got one of our ships done, so let's get him deployed. And we can send him this way, and we'll have these ships meet up. This guy can go ahead and grab these curiosities. Now, one of the reasons that I really like the titanium probes is that on a scout ship or a science ship, they recover instantly. So, when I say instantly, I mean as soon as you use them, end your turn, and you will have both probes back. All of the probes basically recover in a single turn. So they're better in a lot of ways than some of the other probes that you can get. In terms of just sheer quickness in revealing curiosities, they're better than even the Hyperion version. Although the Hyperion version do have their place. Okay, he's done. The 2 brood ships I'm going to go ahead and disband for now. We'll just have to remember that they're there, and we might retrofit them to do something useful here shortly, but I don't really want to start another one of these. You can see that this number's gone down some, but it's still much too high for us to want to tank our approval rating. Okay. So we should have these 2 deployed. We'll send them down this way. And before I send them down this way, my hero has 2 turns before I can attach him to one many turns is it going to take them to get there? More than 2. That's fine. Alright, so he's got 2 probes. He can go ahead and get that one. Send a fleet to the quest marker. Show location. Okay. We are not going to be able to do that one just yet, but we'll be able to do it soon. This guy can go ahead and grab both of those. Get another Jadonix. And some nice anomalies. Alright, so we need to remember to activate our probe next turn. We still have that lava planet. We can continue to pull some good industry from. And as we continue to colonize these planets, we'll eventually have to move this guy off or change his mining probes out for something else. Alright, so we're in a pretty good spot here. Ubiquitous surveillance will be done in 1 turn. Cerebral reality will be done in 1 turn. And then I'll have a couple of turns to figure out what I want to do. I think what we're going to want to do is, once we get ubiquitous surveillance done, we're going to want to build some military class ships and then get those pumped out. Let's merge these guys together. And now we have 4 probes that come back every single turn. And I think I'm going to go ahead and launch my probes, actually. So since they come back every turn, if you don't really plan on moving, or you don't have very much movement left, it can often be more beneficial to just send your probes out. Like, we probably should have stopped here, sent our 3 probes out, and then continued. That would have been more effective use of our time. Cullen says hi from the UK again. That event revealed this system. Let's take a peek. So we've got a jungle world and a desert world, not connected to any star lanes currently, but we can travel to those systems now. Did we get any other ones? I don't see any over here. Yeah, it doesn't look like it gave us any other ones, so. And there we go. Turn 16, we've revealed 20% of the galaxy. So yeah, when you can get 20% of the galaxy uncovered in less than 20 turns, that's pretty good. Pretty effective strategy. This is really what I wanted to unlock more than the ubiquitous surveillance tech itself. The upgrade for moving to the next tier of military technology gives me some nice military upgrades for my ships. It kind of would have been nice to be able to put those on the Peregrines, but they're not really going to be used in combat. So what we want to do is create a new ship design. We're going to call these Raptors. And we are going to make military style ships. So these military class ships are going to have an engine. And we're going to do bullet weapons and laser weapons. I think that's a good combination. I'm trying to remember Are these lasers any good? They're alright. And then we're going to go shields. And in this slot, I have a decision to make. So I can go manpower and give me almost as much manpower as what a regular offensive ship would have. We're still missing some of the attack bonuses that the attacker class ships get. I could also go repairs, which is kind of meh, because these ships have very low health. This works best on ships that have high health. Percent healing is always nice, especially if they're tanking ships. Or I could go probe. Now, the advantage of this probe over this one, these ones recover more quickly, but they don't provide as much vision range. And so what that means is the bubble around the ship that it gives you increases when you put a probe on it. This one gives you an increased vision of 2. This one gives you an increased vision of 3. And so I do believe if you were to put 2 of these, this would actually give you a vision bonus of 6, which means that bubble around your ship, that vision that you get, is much larger, and that can have value. These probes still recover pretty quickly, just not as quickly as the titanium version. I think in this case, I'm probably going to go with something like this design. The only question is whether or not I really want bullet weapons on these ships. Look at the details here. So I kind of like this design. If we look at the actual damage based on the accuracies of our guns, it's like a little bit more even of a curve. Alright, let's go ahead and make some Raptors right after we get these done. We'll want to keep an eye out for... Ooh, Libra. I didn't see this one. 5 planets, but 2 gas. Barren, and snow. Not amazing, even for a 5-planet system. Alright, so now we're going to move into planetary landscaping. How badly do I need planetary landscaping? I do kind of need to get to this next tier, but... I think what I really want to do is start rushing over here. Yeah, we're at over 20 now. So both of these still need to get done. I really like both of these techs for the 2 to unlock this. The question is, that's going to take 10 turns. I think this is going to benefit us the most because getting the Jadonics system upgrade is going to be pretty powerful boost to our industry and our capital, which is going to allow everything else to just flow a little faster. So that's what we're going to do. And then I almost forgot to run this again. One of the things we could do to try to speed that up a little bit is run our mining probe on this planet, which is going to give us around 2 science per population. And we are currently at a population of 5, so that's about 10 science. Which 10 more science, would that be enough to really help us shave a turn or two off of that? Might be. Versus 10 more industry. We really want to get these ships out quickly so we can start doing something with them. So I am going to keep rolling with the industry for now. Alright, we got an election coming up. Somehow the scientists are really happy. I don't really understand that, but sure. Actually, we can look at what's causing that. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. So, in the very recent future, or the recent past, I mean, we've done a lot of curiosity exploration with science ships. And that's why our science support is so high. If we show all events, we don't really see much of anything else happening that affects political ideology, so interesting. We're also about to build a science building. So those ships just barely missed their mark. I'm a little concerned about this fleet running into pirates. The first set of pirates is pretty meh, and our ships are outfitted with 4 guns. They should be able to handle the first wave of pirates. It's the second and third wave that's going to be problematic, and that's what this other fleet that we're working on is going to tackle. Take a look. So we've gone through 2 turns. This should be 8 turns, but because we got that science building completed, it's actually dropped to 5. So that feels pretty good. Shaved a couple of turns off of that. There are some ships here. They're white, so they're neutral. They're not pirate ships. Not sure what they're from. But here's all the curiosities. And before I grab all these curiosities, what I'd really like to do is bring our hero to this fleet, but I cannot do that. So the question is, do I sacrifice the experience? Or do I wait the 3 turns it's going to take him to get here before I start uncovering them? Cool. So we've got a minor civilization, pilgrims, exiles, population pip. And since there's no pirates on that route, they should make it back to our capital. And a new solo quest, the Obelisk of Remembrance. +6 per temperate world. Create an outpost on Ugaro 3 or colonize its system. It's said to create an outpost on Ugaro 3? 3. Of course, Ugaro 3 is the toxic world that's kind of garbage. But we could just colonize this system. I would need to research arid worlds. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the tech for arid worlds in the queue. We may or may not end up grabbing that, but I just want to have it there in case we forget. And were there any other curiosities here? No. We're ready to move to the next location, which is going to be right here. I think we're just going to go ahead and grab these. I'm not going to wait for the hero. He's probably better off helping get those ships out a little bit faster. Coral Reefs. Dark Glitter. Polar Tempest. Not great. And a Pulso. Pulsos are pretty good. So we're going to gain 2 population on our home system shortly, which is nice. Growing population that way is one of the better rewards you can get. Let's go ahead and move them up here, and then we'll just kind of bounce around to the last 2 systems. Hero leveled up. So now we have more food and more industry that we can apply. Which is always good. And we have our first raptor. I guess the raptor's not done yet, but do we have probes? Okay, yeah, we need to move first. Guess I had 2 more here. Either way, we'll come back to them. You can see how much faster it is to get these curiosities once you have these titanium probes in hand. Maggie lasers, I like that. We'll probably be doing some retrofitting on our raptors. This is where I have 2 free probes. So let's just kind of send them out and see if we hit anything. And then we'll start sending these guys back this direction. We have to keep an eye on our economy now. Building all of these ships is starting to make us run negative in dust, but because we are about to, or we just did, unlock the marketplace, and we're collecting luxuries, we can handle that no problem. 3 turns until we're able to activate our system development. Cowgaroos. Cool. So now we want to get one of these guys out. And I don't believe we got better engines or anything. I could give them some hull plating, but it doesn't really do any good because they're not going to be in a fight. They're just going to retreat or get blown up. So, no point in that. So we just want to grab him and send him over there. And then once he gets over there, we will activate the auto search again, and he'll uncover this whole constellation. Hopefully one of these hits a different constellation, and we'll get our our other one on that guy. New objective. Solo quest started. The dead are dead, and even if this might be somewhat disrespectful act, your empire needs the dust. Send an expedition to Wrath 1 to obtain dust deposits and some key. Okay, we will be sending a fleet there as soon as we can. Oh, we got a reward of 30 Hyperion for that and some more key, which actually has put us up above this marker. And, if I'm not mistaken, we're now at devoted, so we're actually producing even more dust and even more science. We do need to figure out what we're going to be building. Multi-threaded management needs to get completed. But after that, I do need to get some buildings created, so getting planetary landscaping will unlock some good buildings for us. Alright, and we found some more minor civs. And we'll go with this one, scavenged ram scoops. Alright, our mining operation has ended again. I really don't like micromanaging it, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I actually want these guys to stop here so we can launch our probes again. And still nothing down here. Alright, this turn we will have our election. Since we are basically a dictatorship, we get to choose whatever we want. And there are some interesting choices for this first election. Which we'll discuss once we get there. Just want to make sure I've got everything done for the turn, so... we're at turn 20. I would really like to pull the trigger on this. 44. Let's go one more turn and then probably do it next turn. Alright, so there's some different options here that are kind of interesting. Obviously the militarist has some cool benefits because it allows you to pick wars for free, basically. That's the main law that you get, is the ability to declare war with no influence cost. And it's really handy when you're trying to build up your key, because a lot of times you need to start wars whenever you want. So there's that. The religious party also has some interesting um, benefits. Um, it will provide a significant amount of dust income, especially once you get your population a little larger. And it also allows you to sort of have fights or wars, even when at Cold War you can attack people. So it works pretty effectively for the Hissho as well. So either one of these is actually pretty good when you're in a very military attack mode. When you're in an expansion mode, however, the ecologist party actually provides some really interesting opportunities. So one of the things that we're struggling with right now is the ability to colonize a lot of the planet types that are around us. Taking the ecologist party allows us to do that with the ecology base law. It allows you to basically colonize any type of planet, even if you don't have the tech for it. And so if you're having trouble expanding because you're not able to focus enough of your research in the science tree because you're trying to get other things done, switching to the ecologist party for this first election and then switching back on turn 40 to one of the more military ones can be a way to get around that. The rest of these don't really work so well for the Hissho. The scientist party is always going to be okay because they have some of the best laws in the game, but they do require you to have a significant stockpile of influence to get in and out of wars, and that can be problematic. And then the industrialist party they just don't have much that truly benefits you. So I would stay away from, obviously, the pacifist and the industrialist party. But these three parties have their place, I think, for a Hissho player. Looking at where we're heading right now, I'm struggling to make a decision here. Part of me very much wants to go with the religious party for several reasons. One, our economy is starting to struggle, and while we can fix that, this pretty much fixes it by itself. It still allows me to fight pirates, which is what we're going to be doing in the immediate future. And it allows me to, I believe I can declare wars on minor civs for pretty cheap. So even if I do have to pay influence, we have a pretty big stockpile banked. And then by the time we get done with those wars, we're going to have an opportunity to switch back to the militarist party if we want to. And one other thing to keep in mind is our only hero is a militarist hero. And that means if we take any of his talents or any of his skills that require him to be on a Senate seat, and we choose this as a dictatorship, we will not have him as a party Senate member or whatever it is. And so we won't get a benefit from those political talents that the heroes can take, because we're a one-party system as a dictatorship. So yeah, so the only way to take advantage of those would be to stay in the militarist party. That only matters if we think he's going to get to some of those skills in the next 20 turns, and I'm not sure that he is. So I think we're just going to go ahead and switch for 20 turns. Okay, so now we're going to be gaining a bunch of influence per population on planets. We're going to get more experience on our hero. We can attack and invade in enemy territory while being at Cold War. So we don't actually have to declare war in order to attack players, which is nice. And we have a way to increase experience, which we're not going to use, but this is the one that I was thinking of. +5 dust on original empire population. Only your starting population can increase. So basically, what this does is it prevents minor civs from growing, and it increases your dust dramatically if you have a large population. We're not going to be able to run hatched at home because we're about to lose a bunch of key and we can't afford to run negative for the short term. So this is something that we can use to fix our economy in the short term. And since all of our population are generating an extra influence already, this is basically free to activate. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and you're going to see this go back to positive, which is good. Can continue to boost that. Got some raptors constructed, and how many raptors? I've got 3 of the 4 I think I started. 2. We also have that brute ship that needs to get out here as soon as we hit another constellation. There's a good chance that there's a constellation over this way, so what I'm going to do is send 2, 3 out that way, and then I guess we'll send 1 that way. Huh. Asteroid field. Okay, and then finish your move back to here. Got curiosities over here, just one it looks like. Okay. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Alright, now, I could activate this again, but what we really want to do is this. So that's going to drop us significantly. We're going to lose our 30% bonuses that we were getting. But we have our second system started. Manpower is going to be depleted because we put a bunch of manpower on ships, and now manpower is being drawn to this system, which starts with 0, but it's going to start increasing to fill up to the 200 defensive infantry that we'll keep stationed here. And then this system needs to get some basic stuff done. So we have a cold fertile world, and really the only reason we're on this system at all is for these. So what we want to do, we're going to build those up for now, and then those will be helpful, and then this building actually might even be more useful up front. We'll leave it in the queue. But this building is going to increase both of these by 1. We're not going to be building ships here. And once we're done with these, we'll go into Ancestral Reverence, which we'll talk about later. But that's an important thing that you'll need to activate quite regularly. It's a little bit complicated how it works, but it's definitely worth running. The only question I have now is... Yeah, I kind of messed up here. So I had the option of activating this before we settled this, and I could have done that first and then settled this, and we would be a little bit lower than we are now. But as it stands, I'm not going to be able to activate this until we build our approval back up above that threshold. So that was a little bit of a mistake if I really wanted to activate this, which I think looking back at it, I should have done that. And the reason is there's really no difference between where we're at here and if we were 5 lower. Our bonuses or penalties are going to be the same. So the only thing that would be different is we would be getting a nice boost to our primary system. Okay, so we've got 4 turns until these raptors get completed. In 4 turns, I'll have multi-threaded management and some new buildings that we can construct. And we'll have our first military fleet ready to do some work. You can see these guys have expanded to 3 systems. They have colonized these 2 and have started a colony here. They're also very likely to pick up this faction pretty soon. So we're a little bit behind in that respect. Okay. I may have forgotten to do this last turn. Got more. That. Launch those. That over there. All right. Now, let's take a look at our economy. So we have 155 industry per turn, which is pretty solid at this point in the game, but it's about to get a lot better. We found the Vidyani. Trade is now completed. Planetary landscapes is in the works. And that means we can do system developments with this resource, 25. So we can do this immediately in our home system, but it'll take us a couple of turns to build up the Jadonics to do it in our secondary system, which we definitely want to do soon. I'm going to go ahead and do this so we can get the raptors moving. And I'm probably not going to build this first, but we can do a little bit of work on it. These unique buildings can only be built once in your empire, and they're generally built best on the systems that have lots of population. Our homeworld isn't ideal for that, but if we terraform these 2 worlds, we can make it more ideal. You want to have a really high population in the systems that you build these in the long run. And you want to make sure that they're almost all primarily your base original population. None of these other population types should be in that system if you can manage it, which we'll try to do. Alright, where are we at? Ooh, okay, so we did find another constellation here. and none of the others once did, though. So this is a little bit risky, but let's go ahead and bring him out. And let's send him there. And if he's able to make it there, we'll start working on that constellation and see if we can get some of it uncovered. This guy is activated to start scouting. Looks like we found Ariga. Small ice world with the husk of knowledge. More turn until our fleet is completed, and then we will start clearing out some pirates, I think. We could increase religious political ideology. I don't usually like losing industry, but since we're running the religious one and we have the religious quest, we might as well just kind of lean into that. Okay, so these guys are not ready to... Actually, no, they are. Let's go ahead and deploy this. And let's merge these fleets together. We're almost at our cap of 7 right now. We'll need to increase our cap at some point if we want to have more ships in this fleet. But the one thing that we could do is include our hero ship. I'm debating whether to leave him in the capital or... He is producing quite a bit of industry. But having another ship isn't going to hurt. Let's go ahead and retrofit some of the ships and see what we can do. So, actually, before I look at his ship, let's look at these ships. I think we got some new tech. I got Maggie lasers. And I also got monohull plating, which is a little bit better than the base defenses. So these are kind of like mid-tier upgrades. The thing is, I want to have a couple of ships that shoot flat cannons to basically shoot down missiles. Is a movement of 4. I kind of like this design, but I am almost maybe just we'll go with that. We'll upgrade the bullet weapons and go with that. And then the Raptors will go with yeah, I like this design. Good for the Raptors. Okay. And then the Raptors also have a movement of 7. So, if we can get our hero ship to a movement of 7, which is fine. That does mean that we're not going to have any of these other minor support slots filled out. And then weapon-wise, the best weapons we really have are... I think I'll give him one black cannon too, just so he can shoot down missiles if we do encounter missile fleet. Right. And that is going to be too expensive. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of luxury selling here. So we can sell that. That should give us enough. We are running severely negative on dust again. This negative dust has a lot to do with the fact that we lost 30% of our income that we were getting from our approval bonuses. We'll be able to get those back, but Alright, now this fleet is ready to rock and roll. We're going to head over here first. There was a quest we could get a little bit of key from that. I think there might be a fight there. Might be like a 50-50. Sometimes you'll get attacked by pirates. Alright, the academy's been discovered. Still a couple of curiosities over here that we want to go grab. Alright, how's my manpower? Manpower's still negative. It's going to be that way until we fill this out. Okay, we're at 200 here, so this should start to increase because we're not making any more ships. 2 turns till planetary landscaping. One thing we could do... sacrifice a population to gain 50% food for 10 turns. I don't like to sacrifice populations, generally speaking. But there is a time and place where it does make sense. Next observance is convert 1 population into 5 key. I'm not really ready to pull the trigger on sacrificing pop just yet. Colonize or create an outpost on 2 unique planets in less than 30 turns to get a free hero. This is actually a pretty good hero. We already have 1 unique planet, and that is our homeworld. There are a couple of unique planets that we are aware of. So, Genis counts as a unique planet. And so does Araga. Araga would be a unique planet. I'm not sure if Haro counts as a unique planet, because I don't think you can actually colonize it. You can colonize the system that it's in, but you cannot colonize it specifically. And then Tikanomi is also a unique planet. So any of those, if we were able to take them over in 30 turns, would be a way to get that free hero. This one would be the easiest one to do. Because nobody owns it yet. But it's not a great system, even though it's a great planet. So it's probably not worth it even for a free hero. Also, scavenge ramp skips. Alright, so now that we've got our modernization done, we're at almost 200 industry, which is nice. And we're going to get planetary landscaping in 1 turn. Notice this has gone up a little bit because we're scouting systems again with our roadrunners, so that's increasing little by little every turn. These roadrunners, man, they're pretty good, and we can actually make them better. So right now these things have a movement of 12. However, these actually give you a significant boost. So with those, we have a movement of 3, 6, 9 plus 75% of that. I'm curious, it actually shows it as 12 up here. Oh, because these are also 3. I thought we had the engines that moved 4. We don't yet, so this is also going to be 12 movement, but we're actually going to move 75% further per point travel, which is ridiculous. You can move incredibly far with this engine setup, and I have tested it in a game before, so unless it's changed, the plus 25% travel per point does stack. So if we build a new one, it will be very, very fast. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this quest kicked off. Yeah, Pirates attack, no big deal. We're pretty good. Well, let's take a look at the advanced screen. So weapon types. So they're almost entirely energy weapons. Those are bullet weapons. Oh, sorry. I'm almost entirely energy weapons. Yeah, these are both using bullet weapons, flak cannons. So we want to engage at long range, so power to shields is probably going to be the ideal. We'll go ahead and watch this one. I like to watch from the overview camera. Speed things up just a little bit. Yeah, we're just tearing through. And that is the advantage of having weapons that are moderately effective at long range versus ships that only can engage at short range. So if we take a look at the beginning, Flotilla 1 started at long range, Flotilla 2 started at medium range, and engaged this single ship from medium range. So medium range on their fleet, this is the optimal. So their optimal is medium, and our optimal never really moused over these and read these before. I don't remember these tooltips popping up before. Either way, because our weapons are more effective at long range than theirs, engaging them at long range is always going to be the best choice. So, pretty confident in that. We definitely outnumbered them. And we got the reward. Large stock of Hyperium and some more key, which has moved us up above this thing again. So we can activate it now if we want to. Okay, send an expedition to Indicated Curiosity at Wrath 1. Yeah. Wow, we just got a ton of Hyperium. That's good because we delayed unlocking it, so we haven't been mining it this whole time. So that really helps us out. It also helps out our economy if we do happen to want to sell some of it and make a bunch of money. That is an option. Alright, so now I have to decide what I'm doing with this fleet. Part of me wants to split it up into 2 fleets and send the scout ships down here and see if we can't maybe blockade this. Or at least just grab the curiosities down in this system. We have the option of doing both. So if I grab just the peregrines, 3 probes left. I should probably launch these probes and go next turn. So we'll send them down that way. Whoops, that is not what I meant to click. Thought I had these guys. Well, I guess we have decided to stop this and maybe attack pirates with our fleet. Alright, well that was an accident, but we'll make the best of it. Sinner says, hello fellas. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you're at. I think I do want to go ahead and activate this again. We're still going to be up above this threshold, which is good. Is that enough to get a bonus here? It is. 65 must be the break point. I can't remember. I know the breakpoints are different in Endless Legend than they are in Endless Space 2. Slightly. But it's got to be 65. That system's fine for now. Although, did we get... We need like 2 more turns, and then we can activate that on there. System development's going to be really big for that system, because it's moving really slow at the moment. What are these guys doing? I guess we'll send them down here as well. I was going to send the fleet up here and deal with this stuff, but I accidentally misclicked, so change of plans. And another system over here with titanium and Hyperium. That is important. So let's switch this up a little bit. get our food buildings constructed. We need to start looking at the system's filling up very quickly. We got those population pips from the Pulso and the Pilgrim finally get here. Don't have any anomalies on these two worlds yet, so can't place them anywhere more effective, nor can I place this guy anywhere more effective. So one thing to note about the Hissho, they have no overpopulation penalties to approval at all. So filling your systems completely up is perfectly fine. It does not affect your approval. Right, so.
The Vodiani and our church acknowledge you.
Finding all kinds of minor factions over here. I'm really not a fan of the map putting all of the minor civs on a constellation in the middle. I think that's kind of lame, to be perfectly honest. Alright, there was a quest down here. Oh yeah, that was to colonize this world. We might still be able to do that. We're about an hour and 20 minutes in. I think we'll try to get to turn 30. Attack me. Doesn't look like they're going to just yet. And so we can get these last two curiosities. Alright, so they have 450 defenders on this system. It is going to take some better ships than these to deal with that. So let's send these guys down and we're going to have to retrofit them. And out of curiosity, I did retrofit these. They're Peregrine 2s. These are Peregrine 2s. We did not retrofit those. I forgot to do it, or we didn't have the money to do it. That's fine for now, then. You could be right. Zedum says he believes the breakpoint for the approval bonuses is 60 in Endless Space 2. It might be 65 for Endless Legend. I don't know, I get it confused all the time. I have to play a couple games before I remember, just the time to switch it up and forget. Interplanetary metallurgy, we needed that. Now we're collecting this resource. And we actually have a building we need to throw in the cube. Just minimize that for a second. Because this planet has these resources, this building is much more useful. Probably should be like right... I don't know, it needs to be in the queue. And then we're definitely moving this to the very front of the line, because this is just flat 60 industry. Alright, what do we got here? Shuttles with a mixture of weapons. Looks like projectile weapons, so it looks like they're using missiles and bullet weapons. So if they have missiles, we don't really want to engage them at long range because that's where they're going to be most effective. We do have flak cannons, but I think engaging them at medium range is probably going to be the best bet for us. Interesting. So they engaged us at medium range as well. That's going to put most of our weapons in their optimal range. This should be a very quick fight for them. One downside is my peregrines, which have flak cannons, aren't in this. We're going to have to rely on our one hero's flak cannon to shoot down missiles. They're only going to be 50% accurate at this range, though. Where our lasers are basically going to just destroy them. There's a miss. Missiles have really high damage, but they're really easy to counter. Alright. Hero got a level there. Let's go ahead and finish off the talent that we had started. Let's see here. We blockade this system. Their outpost is at negative growth, and they will lose this outpost in 12 turns, which is kind of what we want. I don't know that I actually want to stay here for 12 turns. But kind of made my choice when I accidentally clicked that way. So looks like the war with the Lumeris is going to be sooner than I anticipated. Dust is getting a little bit out of control as well. I can fix that in 6 turns by getting this building finished. Yeah, I can't really do much else. Sometimes you can move populations around on planets to get more dust, but we go from 6 to 7, it doesn't really help us. Alright, what are we working on? Head scale accelerators is not a high priority at this moment. We're not in a position to colonize another system just yet. What is going to be in demand is the ability to deploy tanks and siege modules. Before you get into a land war, you really need to have both of these researched. Probably in this order. Let's go and move that to the back of the queue for now. Still want to get it done, just don't need to get it done right away. Also, probably forgot to do this again, but at least I'm remembering. Starting with Jade Onyx is always a treat, says Zedum, and that is 100% correct. Jade Onyx is probably the best starting luxury resource in the game. It just helps so much with your systems when you can build 60 industry on on the very first turn with the modernization tech, as long as you have the quantity you need. It's super powerful for getting systems off the ground. The only one that even comes close to rivaling it is using titanium as a vaulter for your system development, which is 40 in industry and 40 food. Alright, we're going to get through a couple more turns and then call it quits for tonight. I'll try to get in a couple more episodes before I go on vacation this weekend. And we'll see what we do when I come back. I might be starting a new game with a new faction at that point, or depending on how this one is going, I might continue it. Okay, so now that all of these ships are here, we merge them together. What are we looking at for 5 turns is a lot better. Let's go ahead and get rid of those.
We've seen eels more trustworthy than we've seen eels more we've seen eels.
Yes, we know. Alright, so there's some curiosities here I need to snag. Okay. And then I have 3 probes. One thing I like to do is send probes down a lane. What this does is it can give me a heads up if there are ships incoming, because our vision bubble is not particularly large. But these probes, if you send them down every turn or so, give you some intel. We can also send one down that way. We might uncover some ships. And then maybe just send one out here and see if we can uncover another constellation. And remember, we can do this every single turn. So that's important. He's already uncovered that whole constellation and is already moving over to this one. Okay, yeah, blockade. Make sure we're blockading. We definitely don't want them getting this system up. They're already going to be ahead of us with 3, but that's okay. I don't really have the money to retrofit those. That will help a lot, actually. So getting cerebral reality constructed here is going to give us 15 more dust. Get this food building in the queue. Maybe like right there. Everything else is kind of irrelevant at the moment. Alright, so now we've got enough approval, I think. Does this tell me how much we're getting from that? It does not, but it should be 30 dust. We have 6 Hissho population, so we should be getting 5 times 6, which would be 30 dust. So then my question is, would it be better for us to run hatched at home? 25% on systems. So we're currently getting 107. Would definitely increase this number. And this number for that matter. But it's going to be running at -2 since I have 2 systems and I'm not running ancestral reverence here. So I don't think it's worth running that law just yet. Yep, there they go. They just grabbed that one. So that minor civ got assimilated. Okay, we have 3 options. We can generate more industry in a system, generate a bunch of dust, or build some ships. I'm pretty sure we're going to be building ships with good offensive power here in the next 20 turns. So we'll go ahead and go with that. The titanium's worth more than the dust. Pulsos can activate their booster. Alright, so if I wanted to, we could sell the Eden incense off. That gives us the dust to retrofit these. But before we do that, let's just double check here. Is this really the design I want? I think it is. And then the other thing that we want to check is tech-wise. We're going to need both of these. It's going to take me another 5 turns. But in those 5 turns, I'm going to get a couple of new weapons. They're not really ones that I would be interested in. Putting on a scout ship, so I think we're fine to go ahead and upgrade these ships. Then we can send them down to the same location now. Actually, I can only send one of them down here because this fleet can only fit one more ship in it with a total cap of 7. Once we get this technology in 5 turns unlocked, this will give us 3 more. So then the question is, do I want to send them down? I think the answer is yes. Let's go ahead and get them down. It's going to take them 4 turns anyways. So we're only going to be like 1 turn away from being able to merge those ships into a single fleet, so that's fine. Still can't do much with the economic behemoth, unfortunately. What we really need to do is focus plasmas in 1 turn. Okay. I'm going to do 1 more turn because I know what I want to do with this focus plasma. We're going to create big bottom booms. We're going to do some siege ships. We'll use shields or armor. so what these ships are going to be doing is we've got the big bada booms. These are just advanced siege modules. They're basically big guns that shoot from space and blow up lots of military structures and soldiers. So we're going to use these to siege down the pirate ships and the Lumeris. We need 2 of them. Kind of throw them in the queue right there.
Even in holy war, diplomacy remains an option. For the good of the church, I have a proposal for you.
We may refuse that proposal. I need to... Did I? I did not. Let's grab the right engine. So this engine is slightly better than that one. Not going to cost any more. There we go.
I shall defend the faith, whatever.
Focus plasma is done. Stridshorn says he's been anticipating the next episode since the first one was released. I'm going to try to do a couple of them here over the next couple days because I'll be going on vacation, as I've mentioned a couple times now, starting next week. And so I'll be gone for a while. So I want to get about as far into this one as I'm probably going to play. But if it's going really well, I may pick it up when I come back. 2 turns till this is done. My probe thing just went off. So let's do, I keep saying, just one more turn, just one more turn. Get rid of that civilian ship. We'll do one more turn and then make sure I get my mining probe deployed so I don't forget again. First thing.
I shall defend the faith.
Careful, or things are going to get as ugly. Careful, or...
Alright, so... several things just happened right there. First things first, we got the intergalactic supermarket up, which is going to be a pretty solid chunk of dust, and that should help support our navy that we just created, so that's good. We got our mining probe down, so that's good. We made a new frenemy. These guys are not happy with us, so we might see some activity up here, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case. We'll see what happens. Where is this guy going? Oh man, he's way over there. Okay. Well, it's going to take him a little while. We are getting more constellation uncovered, so... And this is 1 turn away from destruction, and then we move on to pirates. Oh, look who we found. These guys are about to show up. Well, since this system is blockaded, we'll get a chance to shoot at them. We found the Walter's starting location, so we should be finding them over here soon. What are we at? Oh, 1 hour 40. Only one more. One more turn, one more turn. Get your stupid little scout ship out of here. Probably don't. Well, he's gonna retreat, so. Alright, this is now gone, which means we can go ahead and move. Before we move, Got 4 probes. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Should still have a little bit of movement. Nope. So we can go ahead and send the 4th one down the lane. Let's see if we see any pirates.
The Oregon Federacy seeks only no.
New objective. Travel between 2 solar systems without using star lanes, and you may pick up traces of the lost before they were hunted by the Endless. Okay. This is now passed, which is fine with me. Thanks for the tip on the volume. I've already tried to make one adjustment to it, but I might do it one more time and see if I can reduce the volume of the music. I like to have the music in my videos, but it's hard to find the right balance because what hears good to, or what sounds good to me when I'm recording doesn't always sound good on YouTube when you guys play it. So I'll keep working on that. It was definitely a little louder in the first video. I did turn the music, background music down for this video, so you'll have to let me know if it's better than the first video. But if I need to turn it down a little more, I can. Okay. Was I gonna do anything else? Maybe this is the place where we stop. Or we just go 2 hours. What do you guys think? Should we just do 2 hours tonight? This morning for some of you. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's try to get to turn 40. Okay. I can make an adjustment to the sound effects as well. I'll have to do that here for the
I shall defend.
Okay. Cooperative quest has been achieved. We did not get any of the rewards, but the rewards were kind of trash. But we got the most important reward. As soon as this quest gets completed with the Hissho, it is very important that you come over and grab this. This is the technology that allows you to retrofit your Behemoth designs. So we can now equip real weapons and real modules, including more of those cool support modules we talked about in the first video. But you can't do that until this gets completed. So now that the quest is done, we can unlock this. It is going to be a priority. It's probably going to take precedent over that. But we'll get this done first. Alright, we got our first big bada boom. I don't have any movement left. Does not look like it. Oh, just a little bit. Okay. So I could have launched my probes there. Maybe should have. On the plus side, we are way high on this again, so we need to start spending some of it. And there are 2 really good ways to spend it. We could get that colony ship. and either get on Ugaro. I can't get on Takim. We could get on Wardan. That might not be terrible. More Jadonics. They've got another one here. We're not going to be able to stop that one, but... Alright, so do we want to spend some money and some dust to activate this for our fleet? Probably. But probably not until we merge them together. Which means I can't spend this here, because it'll drop me below that threshold, so I've got to wait a turn. The diplomacy scenes, yeah. Okay, I will definitely adjust that in the next video. Alright, let's go ahead and siege these guys. We can send some scouting probes down here. Just out that way, maybe.
Careful, or things are going to get as ugly as you are.
Got our big bada booms now. Let's get those out and get them deployed. We now have more manpower to deploy. We have our ground troops, which we need to activate. So this is another important thing you'll need to do at some point. Switching to tanks takes 250 manpower. We can't quite do that just yet. I can only get to about 60. Let's try, we'll just go with 50 for now, and I'll do the rest later. The reason we want to do that is because at the beginning of the game, everybody has infantry, and tanks just outperform infantry on every level, so. Alright, so from here... That's a big fleet. Let's go ahead and activate that for them. What do we got here? Yeah, he just has... he has some military ships. We do not, but we do have bonuses and we have a hero. I can't tell if they have a hero. Doesn't look like it. I think our fleet outcompetes theirs. Can also activate that. We're being blockaded here by the Bodiani. That's a little bit of a problem for me. I didn't want to have to build ships up there, but we may have to pivot and build a couple of raptors to deal with that. Problem is, I'm really low on manpower. I'll have a couple of turns of recovery before I start building those, so it should be fine. Our economy's slowly but surely getting online. Alright, we have to pick our battle tactic very carefully here. It could definitely mean the difference between winning and losing. So they've used gravity distortion recently. They have no energy weapons. How many of their ships are using missiles? Quite a few. I think we're going to go with gravity distortion. Peregrine, Raptor. Peregrine. Raptor. I think this is about as good a deployment as I could do, with maybe the exception of having more. I like to have more ships in the central lane. Sometimes they do weird stuff though. There will be times where they'll put one ship here and all of their other ships over here. That would actually be really bad for them if they did that, I think. We're definitely going to watch this one because I need to see how it plays out. We have some pretty big bonuses to our damage. So yeah, they only put one ship in the top lane. So I'm glad I moved that other one to the middle. Their ships are a little bit better than mine, being true military class ships. But they're not significantly better than mine. And like I said, we are running some buffs. So let's see if it shows up. Oof, taking some missile damage. This is their best phase, though. Once we get to medium range, we should start to do a little bit better as long as we still have enough of our fleet alive. Let's increase the speed here. Alright, yeah, now we're starting to make some ground on them. And their missiles are going to be much less effective at this range. Looks like we win decisively. We did lose a Raptor and took some damage to our hero, but he doesn't die, so that's fine. We also earned some ki and some experience. Our hero has leveled up. So now... what do we want? Shield penetration, dust on system, influence on system, experience on fleet. This tier is kind of interesting because there's just not a lot of good. Shield penetration might be worth doing if we're going to leave him out here for very long. I think we're going to leave him out here for a while, so let's go ahead and get some combat skills for our fleet. Since we're using energy weapons, shield penetration is actually pretty useful. Alright, are we going to invade? Oof. Yeah, that's going to be a little while. Let's double check here. We have 7 of 12. So I have quite a few more ships that I can fit in this fleet now. Definitely going to want a secondary fleet at this point, because I need to get some stuff done up here as well. And since we're running positive on dust for the time being, we can afford it. The thing that's really bottlenecking us a little bit is the manpower, but blow those guys up, get a little bit more experience. Got 8 probes. Shoot them off every direction. You can shoot them off every direction every turn when you build the titanium ones. That's why you really don't need that many scout ships. One scout ship in each fleet's really enough once you get to the mid-game. Having a couple in the early game, you saw how fast we were able to catch up on curiosity uncovering, but so both of these ships have bullet weapons. I know this is a bullet weapon because their accuracy at long, medium, and short range tells me that. Flat cannons are the only weapons that have that accuracy profile down at the bottom of the screen. And that means that we want to engage these guys at long range because they're only going to be doing 10% damage to us in the first round of combat, while we're going to be dealing significantly more than that. We don't really need to watch it though. It'll just blow them up. Alright, we gotta get rid of these pirates. This fleet is almost there. That's gonna help significantly. Alright, science building is completed, so that'll help. Behemoth blueprints in 1 turn. And then, what do we take? There's a couple of different technologies that I really like to play around with. We're only going to need one more technology from this. This wedge in order to unlock the next tier. And the next tier is what I really want, are the medium class ships. I think we're going to skip over the base ships. Ooh. That does have a Behemoth modifier though. So skipping over that might not be something I can consider doing. Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get that, because this is too good not to have that extra health, and the multiplier on our modules is too good. We probably aren't going to build too many of these ship types, although the defensive protector class ship is not terrible for a few things. I don't really like this claw class design, but this one's not bad. Alright. That is turn 40. Probe needs to be launched. And we do need to get lava and ice worlds figured out, so as soon as I get those two things done, lava is going to take 14 turns without the discount. And was it an ice world? Yeah. The ice world. I can't even grab the ice world yet. We're gonna have to grab snow and then get the ice world. Alright, that's a decision I'm gonna make for the next video. We've got our next turn or so figured out, so let's go ahead and do the election, and then I will end the video for tonight right at 2 hours. Not bad for a double video. Okay, so now the question is, do we want to stay with the religious party? Or do I want to go back to the military party? I am going to be building a bunch of ships. And getting the discount on the ships would be nice. We are going to lose on some dust and some influence, but I think we have a nice stockpile of influence for now, so, and this allows us to do a lot of stuff. So I think we're going to go back to militarist. This will also give us the Spoils of War Act if we wanted to run it. Spoils of War. This is still annoying. Do have the Raptors built. Let's go ahead and deploy 2 of these guys and get them up there as fast as possible. We definitely need to spend some of this. 2 turns, I can complete this quest, or at least start it. So we need to build a colony ship.
Careful, or things are going to...
Don't care. Keep these boosters active as much as we can. Alright, and then the last thing I'm going to do before we sign off is we can now retrofit this ship. So we have quite a few options. I don't like the mining probes, at least for this first one, because this is going to give us 30 flat industry, where the mining probe was giving us, I don't know, 10? 10 of one resource. This is going to give us 30 of 4 resources. So this is a much better way to use these if you just want to set them and forget them. You don't have to do anything, just good to go. We don't need an engine on this since we're not going to be moving it. So there's that. And then as far as the weapons and defenses go, we only have 2 slots. It's always imperative that one of those 2 slots be a flat cannon, just in case the enemy has missiles. This will help reduce the damage that you take from missiles significantly. And then the other slot should probably just be whatever your best weapon is. Our best weapon is probably the Maggie lasers, so we'll throw that on there. And then for defenses, we'll do 1 of each. And that should be pretty good. Plenty of money to do that. But now that Behemoth, we're getting plus 30. You can see it down on the bottom. Plus 30 there, plus 30 there, plus 30 there. And this is what I was talking about in that first video, where figuring out which one of those 2 ways you want to go is great. Build a ship that can just stay in one spot and boost the economy of one of your colonies and defend it. Works really well. If you have like a territory like this where there's a lot of planets and you can run a bunch of mining probes and collect like a bunch of luxury resources or strategic resources, then it still makes sense to maybe fit one with mining probes, but you really want to do one or the other. You don't want to do both, and that's what it starts you with, is 1 of each. So that's why we did what we did. We'll just kind of get through the nitty-gritty of this turn. Shoot out a bunch of probes again. This number's going to go down a lot faster once these 2 ships finally get over here. And yeah, we're going to send a colony ship down there in the next video, which will probably be tomorrow night. If we take a look at our score, yeah, we're starting to fall behind. And this has a lot to do with the fact that we did not follow my plan. So my original plan was to send my fleet up here, kill these pirates, and then take over this system, which would put us at 3, and then maybe give us the opportunity to fight with these guys, which are very close. Instead, I accidentally sent them down this lane, which was not ideal, but if we can wipe these guys out, we'll be just fine, and we'll catch up rather quickly in terms of systems. Some of these systems might be pretty well developed, so we'll have to see how quickly we can do this. The problem is, it's not going to happen with just this little fleet. We're really going to need to build another fleet, which is why we are now grabbing the technologies that we are. So I am going to grab this first, but this technology will give us military ships and unlock the medium class military ships, which is where the Hissho really start to shine. Their medium class ships are pretty solid. So that will be for the next video. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. If you are, please leave it a like, leave a comment. I enjoy chatting with you guys in the live stream as well. So anytime you have questions, jump in, say hello, throw out your questions, and I will try my best to read them off and answer them. And until next time, this has been The Nose Plays, and you guys have a wonderful day.